Welcome to Doctorates of the Absurd, your provider of belief on demand. Today, we're going to unplug the oracle and take a good, hard look at the wiring. We're asking a simple question. Why do we treat artificial intelligence not like a tool that can break, but like some kind of mystic whose mistakes might just be prophecies in disguise?
It all starts with something that honestly is just hilarious. A real chatbot at a Chevy dealership was sweet-talked into creating a legally binding contract to sell a brand new car for $1. We all had a laugh, right? We shared the screenshot, marveled at the AI's absurd creativity. But believe it or not, this one little glitch, it perfectly sets the stage for a much bigger and way stranger story.
Because what this all really boils down to is a tale of two different tools. On one hand, you've got a simple appliance, and on the other, you have this new, super complex intelligence. The thing is, our reactions to when they fail couldn't be more different.
Okay, so think about it. When your toaster burns your toast, you call it a mechanical failure. You figure out what's wrong with the heating element, you fix it, or you just get a new one. Simple. But when an AI gives a totally bizarre answer, what do we call it? A hallucination. We start searching for some hidden meaning, we debate its intentions, we treat one like a broken product, and the other like a drunk oracle whose rambling might actually contain some secret wisdom.
And that right there, that is the core question of this entire explainer. Why have we done this? Why are we treating a statistical machine that messes up with the kind of reverence we used to give mystics when we just toss a faulty appliance in the garbage? Well, it turns out the answer has very, very little to do with the AI itself. See, the villain in the story isn't some rogue AI plotting against us in a server farm. The villain is us. Or, to be more specific, it's the quirky, pattern-seeking, story-loving wiring that's baked right into our own brains that makes us want to worship the glitch.
So culprit number one is something called anthropomorphism. This is basically our brain's default setting. If something communicates with us, we automatically want to give it a personality. We start treating a complex algorithm like it's a cheeky assistant or a quirky coworker, mostly because it makes the tech feel less intimidating. But what that also does is it makes us forgive its errors as just personality flaws, instead of what they are, product defects.
And culprit number two, apophemia. You know how you look up at the clouds and see a dragon or a face? That's this. It's our deep, deep need to find a story in everything, to see a pattern, even in random noise. So when an AI spits out some nonsensical phrase, our brain desperately wants it to be a secret message, a piece of a hidden puzzle, instead of what it really is, just a statistical misfire.
And the language we use just keeps reinforcing this myth. I mean, this quote just absolutely nails it. We use words like hallucination, which makes it sound like a subjective, dreamlike experience. We give it the poetic license of a soothsayer. We're essentially giving the machine an alibi for its own mistakes, framing them as a feature, not a bug.
And let's be real, the companies building these things are more than happy to play along. A magical creative partner sounds so much better, and sells so much better, than the more accurate description, a fantastically complicated autocomplete tool that is often very, very confidently and spectacularly wrong.
But look, this isn't just some quirky philosophical debate. Treating AI like a mystic instead of a machine has a very real and often very high price tag. The consequences are really starting to pile up. Let's start small. This number, $650, is how much Air Canada was legally ordered to pay a customer. And why? Because its chatbot completely hallucinated a bereavement discount policy that didn't exist. A tribunal ruled that the bot was part of the company, and so the company was responsible for its mistakes, not its visions, its mistakes.
Then you've got the legal profession. I'm talking about lawyers, people whose entire job is based on verifiable facts, getting sanctioned by federal judges because they submitted legal briefs that cited completely made-up cases from ChatGPT. They trusted the oracle's output as actual research, and the courts literally had to create new rules to stop them.
And this is where the stakes get terrifyingly high. IBM's Watson for Oncology, which was once praised as a medical revolution, was found to be giving unsafe and just plain wrong cancer treatment advice. And get this, a supermarket's meal planning app in New Zealand actually suggested a recipe that would create lethal chlorine gas. These aren't just quirky glitches, these are life-threatening product failures, period.
And this is where the words we choose stop being philosophical and start having real-world power. Calling it a hallucination makes it sound mysterious, almost like an act of God. But calling it a system failure, that implies liability. That demands a recall. One phrase lets a company off the hook, the other holds their feet to the fire.
So, what's the solution here? Well, We need to stop thinking like we're mystified followers and start thinking like technicians. It's time to adopt what we can call the faulty toaster framework.
Just imagine your GPS tells you to make a hard right into a lake. The drunk oracle approach is to praise its poetic soul and wonder what sublime truth might be hiding at the bottom of the water. The faulty toaster approach, you recognize it's a software bug, you update the app, and, you don't drive into a lake. One path leads to danger, the other one actually gets you where you're trying to go.
So here's the manual. It's 3 simple steps. First, diagnose the input. Was the prompt confusing? Was the data it was trained on just garbage? Second, isolate the malfunction. Pinpoint the specific system failure, the broken part, not some imaginary motive. And third, demand accountability. We need to shift from these odd shrugs to actual bug reports, demanding that these products be fixed and made safe. So yeah, it's time to unplug the oracle. It's time for us to move past this phase of just passive wonder and adopt a mindset of active, critical engagement with these incredibly powerful tools.
Because, look, treating AI like a faulty toaster isn't about diminishing how amazing it can be. Not at all. It's about being responsible users. It's the fundamental difference between acting like an empowered consumer who expects a product to work safely and acting like a supplicant who just humbly accepts whatever gibberish the oracle decides to dispense.
And this, right here, this is really the mic drop moment that sums up the whole thing. The toaster doesn't have a multi-billion-dollar marketing team spinning its failures as features. It doesn't have a team of engineers telling you its chart output is just a creative hallucination. No, it's just a broken appliance, and we know exactly what to do with it.
So I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. What if the real existential threat from AI isn't the rise of some all-powerful superintelligence? What if the real danger is much more immediate and much more human? Our own profound, eager, and dangerous willingness to look at a malfunction and call it magic.